Hey everybody, welcome back to another, I'm not even sure how long this is going to be, cast of From Our Minds. I am sort of the main host, Andrew.
And I'm Kevin.
Now, Kevin, you're here for a very specific reason, because I think you have more insightfulness to say on the subject than Beetle
Yes,
Steve.
yes, yes. I thought the Goblin Shredder was good because it was a steampunk kind of item fitting into this fantasy sort of game, right? So when you saw him come out, it was like quite intense because he had all those gears whirring around and it was like he was all mechanical.
It
It
was
was
considered
really
a
out of place
mechanical
in
unit.
Warcraft. Yeah.
They, anyway, so anyway,
Right?
yeah, well, yeah, like what you said is true, yes, but that's not what we're talking about.
Oh no? I thought
No,
we were
no.
doing the Goblin
No,
Shredder
we're not
this
doing the
time.
Guardians of the Galaxy either or anything like that. Okay, just be
Oh.
quiet and listen for a second.
Okay.
Something always really bothered me. Now, as you know, for the most part, I just play video
Something
games, right?
bothers you?
Oh, yeah, you think nothing would ever bother me of
I
all
thought I
people.
thought you liked everything.
Yeah, I liked everything and everybody likes me. It's
And you
like,
have
no.
no opinions on stuff.
No, there's one very specific thing that I have an opinion on. That and
Okay.
Perrier water that you're always drinking. Uh,
Yeah, I don't always drink this stuff. Just right now, it's so tasty.
so tasty.
Free of sugar.
Mm,
You should be a fan of this
the
stuff.
Perrier.
Yeah, it's like Pepsi with all the bad.
I'm not a huge fan of carbonation in general.
It's okay though, right?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's Perrier. People just think
There's
you're
no
Italian.
sugar. Oh no 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 no! You're thinking of the other carbonated water, the Fabrizio water.
Oh yeah, it's like
No, the
Perrier but more expensive, isn't
Perrier is
it?
the French stuff.
Oh, the French. Okay,
Yeah, this is the
it's a
one
French Canadian or European French.
European French.
Oh, okay, you're all right then. No
Yeah,
offense to French Canadians. Go back, quack.
I don't think they have their own carbonated water in Quebec.
Oh, maybe
Yeah,
they
I've
just
never
pump
seen
it
it
into their drinking water in the taps. Wonder how much that would cost the municipality to do that.
to bathe in berries. Yeah.
Anyway, okay, all right. Something always okay now, as you know, for the most part, I am into the video games. However, I do enjoy myself a good round of the old tabletop every now and again.
Whenever you can get some people to agree on it.
Yeah, whenever you can get some people to actually agree on it, that is okay. This is kind of like an off topic, even
That's
though we haven't
happened like
actually got to
six
the main
times, I
topic.
think, in my 36 years.
Like it's the reason why video games are more prevalent these days is you could just sit down and play by yourself if you're playing a tabletop
Hmm.
game. With rare exception, you have to have other people there who are willing to play the game, kind of a thing like that, right? But
Yeah.
not yet. Okay, but it's even worse than that, though, right? Now as with,
What do you
but
mean worse? It's
okay,
worse than getting people to show up? That's the hardest part.
that is the hardest part. Like oh, I mean, you have to actually physically go there and do
There's
something.
gonna be beer.
There's one go.
Sometimes you can't even get them with free beer.
The happy juice.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it depends who you're asking at that point. All right, but great, thanks. You just totally derailed me here. All right, so
That's what I do.
okay, but here's the thing that
Goblin Shredder.
I'm sure. Here's the thing that amplifies my annoyance. Now, we sort of kind of have a few people we can reasonably rely on to play games, kind of, if we give them notice. However, in regards to just, if let's say you're striking up a conversation with somebody at work or whatever like that, right?
Stranger?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, somebody at work.
sure, strangers on the subway, because you're that
Yes.
type of guy. And he
I'm
asked,
that guy. I talk to the strangers on
and he
the
asked,
subway. I really do.
you talk about games or whatever like that, then you mention board games. And I guarantee you, 99.9% of the time, when you say, I like to play board games, they'll look back, they'll respond, yeah, I love to play Monopoly.
And I also play Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Okay, and so if you say, oh, that's why you play Monopoly, they'll say, oh, wait, I also play Cards Against Humanity.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's supposed to like make up for it. Now, disclaimer, I'm not saying Monopoly or Cards Against Humanity or either of them are bad games.
They're both good games.
They're both good games, all right. But the thing is,
what's the problem?
there's many other games out there.
There is.
There's many other games out there.
You can be a winner at the game of life.
Yeah. Oh, see, okay, that's part of the problem. When most people think board games, they think, what do you find in the department store? What? Oh, you got
Monopoly.
Monopoly,
The game of life.
Game of Life.
Sorry.
Sorry, Candyland,
Hungry Hippos.
Hungry Hippos, Yahtzee. Can I throw Risk in there?
Yeah, Risk's always there.
That's, but
But if you meet people who play Risk, you actually think they're kind of cool because that's how hurting it is, right?
yeah, they okay. Risk is like
The problem. What's the problem when they say that?
it
We have
bugs
to
me
identify the
because
problem.
okay, the problem is though that okay, fine, so they like these games, right?
We
But
have
the
to
thing
establish
is,
the thesis before we move
yeah,
on.
the thing is that they think that's all there is to play, and that
Mhm.
if you mention another board game, they don't they're not interested at all because why would I play that game when I can just play Risk or Cards Against Humanity or Monopoly some more? It's the same thing with video games in regards to people who only play Minecraft or only play Call of Duty. Now, there are people who play Minecraft and Call of Duty but also play other things like that. That's not a problem whatsoever. That's great. But there are people out there who only play one kind of game in regards to video games.
Only play Halo.
Only play Halo. Only play Battlefield. You know, kind of an idea. Only play League of Legends. Same thing with board games.
The new Battlefield looks pretty good.
It does look really neat. Battlefield 1. But like I've said, I'm not saying any of these are bad games.
No, yeah, they're good. It's just...
But you have to expand yourself. But the board game is the worst. Because when it comes to video games, if you have a smartphone, all right, you were playing, Cut the Rope, and then you moved on, to Angry Birds, I guess. And then you moved on to Candy Crush.
To 2012.
Yeah, and then you moved on to, I guess, Pokemon Go is the big one right now.
And all those war games.
Yeah, like, Mobile Strike, Clash of Clans, you know.
Yeah.
They're kind of half bouncing around a little bit, right? And even if you just have, like, a cheap laptop or whatever, you have Steam. There's plenty of free games on Steam. Then you have all the free, you know, like League of Legends, Dota, and all that stuff. Plenty of, like, you know, MMORPGs. Board games. Everybody has the same edition of that 50s Monopoly or the old Risk. Not the cool old Risk with the wooden blocks, but like, and Battleship, yeah.
Oh, no, I said I'm the Battleship.
Oh, you're the Battleship. Oh, okay, sorry, I thought you...
Or the race car. Race cars.
Battleship's pretty close. But no, they're just bugs me. There's stores that have dozens of games. There's still new board games coming out. And you know what? While you're...
New board games coming out. That Dragon's Den TV show, I always love it when they bring out someone with a board game idea, because you just know they're going to get trashed.
People bring board games on Dragon's Den?
Could you invest in my board game? Because I spent $50,000 to a Chinese company to print these for me, and no one bought them, so I have to change the rules.
Okay, pro tip on you young aspiring board game makers out there.
There's no money in board games.
There's not much money in board games. It is a hobby of passion.
Unless you own the rights to Monopoly.
Personally, yes. Parker Brothers, you know? Okay, as of now, I only know...
I just love it, because whenever you see a board game person coming out, you just know that they're going to get reamed by the dragons.
There's only two major board game enthusiast websites I know
like
of.
Shark Tank.
Yeah, it's like Shark Tank, yeah.
Americans out there.
There's these Board Game Geek, and there's another thing called the Dice Tower you can find online, where they actually review up-to-date board games. Now, there's other board game guys out there, but I'm not counting, like, Board James from Cinemassacre. That's like a comedy show kind of thing, or like Table Flip from Game Grumps. Once again, I mean, like, serious guys will actually show it. And some of these board games are really fun, and they're neat. But and it's like, the moment... If you do convince somebody who only plays Monopoly to play a game that was made within the last 20 years, the moment you pull out the board and the instruction booklet, it's like they have some sort of like a culture shock, I guess, and like they get scared. They don't want to play it anymore.
Well, sometimes you see that instruction booklet and your eyes just kind of glaze right over.
It's depressing.
That's why there has to be one person who knows how to play.
There has to, Can I lump Settlers of Catan in with like the wannabe board game players, or
no? Well,
or I think that's getting into the you actually play board games field now.
Settlers of Catan is a good game.
Yeah, it is a good game. Yeah.
It's just deeply entrenched among married couples.
Okay, yeah, you have to be married if you're playing Settlers of Catan.
If you've never heard of Settlers of Catan, yeah, that's right. You have to be part of a married couple to be able to play it, and you can only play it with other married couples.
Yeah, and you have to be very nice to each other.
And you have to be cooperative no matter how much the other people might be slaughtering you. That's the fault of that game, you know? Like,
it's dangerously close to becoming like Monopoly, though, the day I saw a Star Trek version of Settlers of Catan, which did look really neat.
Really?
It did look really neat. It was a Star Trek Catan game.
Oh, that sounds cool.
But, you look at Monopoly, and there's like, every TV show has its own version of Monopoly now, and like every video game has its own version of Monopoly now, kind of a thing like that. They just keep churning them up, but people keep buying them and buying them. Like, think that.
Okay,
wait. Got it made.
So the problem is, you'll meet a stranger.
Yeah.
They'll say, "Hey, I just bought a board game. I can't wait to play with my friends. It looks cool." And they'll be like, "Oh, I play board games. I play Monopoly, and but I also play Cards Against Humanity."
Yeah.
and then that's all they know, and you're upset that they don't expand themselves beyond that.
Yeah, like they stay in their sweet little comfort zone.
Well, you know what? Maybe part of the problem is that it's people have the impression, because a lot of the old games are guilty of this, but people have the impression that when it comes time for a night of board games, each game takes like several hours to finish, and you never get to finish it. And if it's not one you end up liking, it's a real chore. It's like a night of horror. Like they were
Yeah.
probably all ruined by that game, Diplomacy. Or
I only played that once, I think. Yeah.
I bought it, never actually played it. Yeah, there's a lot of games out there, even Monopoly and Risk. I mean, if you get suckered into one of those games and they don't resolve quickly, you could be there for hours. Like, so maybe people just are afraid to try something new because it's.
Okay, new pro tip: modern games have finite and lengths to them now.
You mean they don't go on for like 8 hours?
No, they don't. Okay, there's a few
or 2 weekends.
There's a board game called Descent, I believe, which lasts for a very long time. However, as an example, I bought a board game today. It's on Kevin's lap right now. He's checking out the box art.
Oh, that's what that is. I thought this was a resting thing for my Perrier.
No.
Oh,
See, and Kevin, if you were to turn it to the back of the box.
Oh, it's a box.
Yeah,
okay.
The back of the box right here.
All right.
It actually tells you all the information you need. So right there, bam, playtime, 60 minutes. You're done.
Where does it say that? 60 minutes? Bull honky.
Really? What? In a good or a bad way?
I just don't believe it can be finished in 60 minutes.
You don't even know what this game is and what it's about or anything.
It's a board game. It can't be done in 60 minutes. It takes at least 30 to set it up.
No. You remember how in the game of life you had to set up all the little mountains and bridges and stuff like that? I think a lot of board games these days don't have that anymore.
But I like driving my car across the bridge.
The only game that I really... One of my favorite games that takes a while to set up would probably be this game called Power Grid. Oh, surprise, surprise. Nobody listens to this has probably ever heard of it before. Power Grid, great board game.
I like Power Grid.
It's a board game. Now, I know this is scary, everybody, but it's based on supply and demand.
No, you lost me.
Then that's basically what happens, though.
You already played the game, Kevin. Oh, yes, I have, and it was great.
It's a great game.
Don't say supply and demand.
Well, how would you just describe it, then?
It's a game about conquering your opponents through cornering the energy market. No, that's just as bad.
That's just as bad. All right, you have to keep it nice and simple. It's a game.
The other guy.
It's a game where you try to grow your hydro company faster than the other guy.
Hydro.
It's a game where you try to grow your power plants faster than the other guy.
Yeah, maybe that's better. You try to, It's a good game.
It's a good game. It's a good game. There's plenty.
We're not marketing. Okay?
We're not marketing it. We're not marketing and we've been talking a lot about board games, but in regards to card games now, Cards Against Humanity.
Wait. But Power Grid is good because it only takes 2 hours to finish. Maybe?
Yeah, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, once you know the rules. Even the first time we played it, we were still done in not much more than 2 hours.
No. These old games are the ones that take forever to play.
Yeah, that's probably what kills a lot of people's enthusiasm to try something new.
Yeah, Risk was awesome when I was a kid, but now when I played it when I'm a bit older, I just look at it, man, all we're doing is sitting here.
It's still awesome!
I'm sorry, I'm not a huge fan of Risk. It's so simple and boring, and it's 90% of it's all luck of the roll. It's all luck of the roll.
You lost so bad last time.
I lost terribly, because guess what? I just rolled bad.
It was one of those 6-player games, and someone always goes out quickly in a 6-player game, and he was the guy who went out quickly.
It's you have to you have 3 turns. You must get a card every turn. If you don't, you'll die. If you don't have a continent by turn 5 or 6, you die.
No.
If you roll bad, you die. It's
If you roll too bad, you die. Yeah, if you attract too much attention, you'll die. If you don't, you have to get that card every turn.
Yeah, there's too many things you must do or you die. And even if you do everything right, but you roll bad, you die. Same Monopoly. That game can go on forever and ever and ever. And something I know it sounds like I'm ragging on Monopoly, but Monopoly is easily the worst thing for this kind of thing like that. I've had heated discussions with the people about them insisting that there's tons of strategy in Monopoly. You have to deep thinking and everything like that.
I haven't played it in so long, I wouldn't be able to argue for or against that.
Oh, because, when you get the late game, you have to start negotiating, trading properties with each other, Yeah. You have to know where to build your houses.
Yeah.
And, I'm like, well, if you have 3 of a property, you build a house on it. Well, yeah, but you don't necessarily want to build the house. Why not? Oh, well, you might want to save your money. Like, why? Like, every time I play, very few people actually have a monopoly, and then you just stubbornly hold on to one property so nobody else could get a monopoly until everybody gets
What
bored.
happens? Do the housing prices double if you have all three?
Yeah, you can't build houses unless you have all three.
I think that's changed.
They try and speed it up. Like some people I know now, they hand out, like they deal out the properties before they even begin the game.
I'm pretty sure. Okay, no, I might be wrong, but from what I remember, there's the latest rules say that you can build on them, but I think the prices are increased if you own all three.
I could. That shows how little respect I have for the board
we don't
game.
even know. We have to play Monopoly.
Oh, I don't want to play Monopoly.
We have to play one game of Monopoly so that we can say how bad it is.
All right, there. Okay, I'll agree with you on that. It's going to take a long time.
Okay, guys, we retract our Monopoly.
No. We're going to play it. It's going to take a long time. We're going to need lots of happy juice because they're all going to be miserable playing through it and everything like that until we show everybody how it's just not that
good a game.
It's just not that good a game. And there's so many better games out there. And think Parker Brothers has been selling this game for like 50 years now, and they're still making money on it.
So many versions.
So many versions of it. They can expand out. Try something different. Okay, now
there was a make your own Monopoly once. I think it was like 15 years ago. They came out with one that you could put in your Windows 95 computer and like type in the properties you wanted.
Oh.
Yeah.
That sounds delightful.
I remember seeing it, thinking it would never last.
And I don't never heard of it, so I'm guessing it didn't.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. All right, so anyway, referring back to the card games now. So you got what? Cards Against Humanity. You got like
Vanguard.
your traditional like Crazy Eights. No, Vanguard. Okay, now when you get into TCGs like Vanguard, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, stuff like that. That's like unless the person's going to tournaments and stuff like that, they're not interested in playing something they're aware of it. That is something that people are aware of. They know that those exist, but they're not interested in ever playing them or trying them or anything like that.
Because of
nerds. Yeah, that is one big thing. But even regarding to like regular card games, okay, so once again, tries again here. You got Cards Against Humanity, then you got like, Crazy Eights, poker, like the traditional.
Don't forget Uno.
Uno.
It's very different from Crazy Eight.
Rook.
Rook?
It's like a European style card game or something like that.
I've never heard of it.
Apparently it's sacrilege. I'm not really sure, but sorry. So Uno, Rook.
What about them?
That's it. That's the only card games I can think of the average person might know.
Oh, regular cards.
Yeah, oldie-timey persons might know a game called Millborn. Or Millsborn or something like that. But anybody born before the year like 1970 will probably never have heard of it.
Poker, blackjack.
Yeah, like traditional card games, like like a 52 deck.
Queen John.
Something wrong.
Yeah.
But guess what, Kevin?
Yeah.
There's new card games still being made. Yeah, with full art and everything like that. And some of them look. Okay, now.
Tento Bento?
Yeah, Tento Bento, which, by the way, Kevin had the chance to buy for like $15, and now goes for like $50 on Amazon.
If I bought that, everyone would be mad at me who's a woman.
Well, that's why you don't play it when girls come out.
Yeah. I guess I could have easily overcome that.
So, there's plenty of interesting card games coming out. As an example, and once again, with one thing, or maybe it's because they're too scared, they're worried they don't want to learn new rules, alright? But there's a game coming out now, which should hopefully be out in a few months, where I definitely want to pick up a copy. It's called The Town of Salem. I can play it right now for free online. Yeah, I don't want to. Why? Because I want to play with people in front of me.
You can play with people online?
Yeah, you can play it for free online right now, but everybody cheats.
But the whole point of that game wouldn't work online.
Yeah, no, it's... Okay, so basically, it's like a witch hunt style game, where each player gets a secret role, and then they have to, like, as scary this may sound to some people, sit around and talk face to face with one another, and discuss it.
Can I send them a text?
No, you can't. That's illegal. Okay, another pro tip. The word illegal in regards to board games and card games mean something you can't do. It's like against the rules. It's an illegal play. Okay, It's an illegal play. You can't do that. That would be cheating.
Okay.
All right, it maybe that is it. Like there's even okay. Now I know this business would not exist in any non-big city, but even here in Toronto, good old Toronto, that we have a store called Snakes and Lattes and Snakes and Loggers.
Did you see Tento Bento when you went and bought this game today?
I didn't notice it. No.
Okay.
I'll look again next
So
time I
Snakes
swing
and
by.
Lattes is a cafe shop
Yeah, it's a cafe shop. Basically, okay, so you know
that
how,
also has board games.
yeah, so do you know how some bars that you go to they might have Yahtzee and Scrabble, like the oldie timey games that you can play while you're waiting for your food to come
Shuffleboard?
out. Shuffleboard. That doesn't count as a board game. No,
Well,
that doesn't count.
it says board in the title.
Yeah, yeah, but I don't think that would really count as a board game. At that point, may as well call like table tennis a board game.
Mm.
So basically, this game though, or this game, these establishments have dozens of board games. Basically, you pay $5 as a cover fee. You go in and you sit down, and they have the same food level of like a Starbucks second cup kind of a thing like that.
Mhm.
And the staff there will quickly explain to you how to play the board game or card game of your choosing there, so you can sit there and just hang it all you want, drinking coffee at Snakes and Lattes or beer and whatnot at Snakes and Loggers kind of thing.
Right.
And when I walk home from work or
Yeah.
or wherever it is I'm going, and I casually glance in through the window to see Cards Against Humanity, Settlers of Catan, and the
Oh,
Odd Person
yeah.
Plays Ticket to Ride.
Well, which one is that board game store that's like down in kind of like a sub-level? It's halfway in the ground. Is that Snakes and Loggers?
Yeah, Snakes and Loggers.
Is that the one?
Yeah,
It's
by
way
by
out-
the pool, by the old pool hall, right?
Yeah, way down there.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we were going past that store a couple months ago, and there was a bunch of young people playing Risk who didn't really look like Risk people, and it was kind of funny because there was this one guy planning an attack, and I gave him a thumbs up through the window, and I think that actually made him question his choice, and he looked unsure about what he was doing. And I thought it was really funny because everyone was like, okay. It looked like everyone had a big plan to gang up on him later.
Remember, you always have to choose red.
Always choose red. No, but I always choose red, but I've been thinking that maybe that's a bad call because it stands out too much.
No, they always win 26% of the time in four-player games.
That's a myth. That's from that undergrads episode. That
Great,
was just made
great
up.
episode, by the way. Great episode.
Great episode, but they just pulled that one out of the air.
You know, I'm not even going to discuss miniature games because I think that would be considered an entire different genre of tabletop, eh?
Yeah, and I mean, you're going to scare a lot of people if you tell them you have to paint for...
Yeah. Now that, in regards to tabletop games, people don't know what those are. Like Warhammer. If you don't know what Warhammer is...
Do they have goblin treaders?
They probably... I wouldn't be surprised. They probably do, yeah. Alright, picture like... Alright, picture your Monopoly board, alright? Except it's all 3D, alright? With terrain and stuff. And, you know, the little car and the thimble and the dog... They're now, you know, like machine gun wielding Space Marines, or like they have like a chainsaw on one arm, you know, kind of thing. And you're just going out, you know, and like you actually have to measure your movement with what, like string and rulers and stuff like that, or something weird like that. You have like spheres of influence. You can move them around and attack. Very deep, very technical. They have them even for like Star Wars and Star Trek and stuff right now.
Really?
Like, yeah, like Rebel X-wing assault.
Oh, those are the ones with the little models.
Yeah, they look really neat. If you're a noob in tabletop, I understand if you get nervous when you see something like that, because that looks really complicated, all right? So I'm not going to talk about that too much. Even I don't play too much, mostly because those are very expensive.
I think we need to find solutions. So what are you saying for people who are listening who are like, wow, there's so much out there. All I know are these, you know, handful of games, but maybe I want to try something new. How do I get people to join me? Where should I start? Like,
A, get yourself some friends, and know your YouTube friends and stuff don't count.
Okay, no. So people have friends sometimes. So like, say they have a couple friends. What should they try?
Okay, so like it's like a starter game?
Yeah, a starter game, or, you know, like how should they approach maybe picking a new game?
Well, all right.
They go to one of these cafes and they're like, all right, let's try something new that's not Cards Against Humanity.
Now, most cafes, they're the good ones anyway, will actually have sticker symbols telling you how difficult the game is to play.
Oh, that's interesting.
All right, so they'll tell you, like, this is a simple one. You can pick up and play. Like, for instance, let's pretend you want to play a really simple game. I would suggest one called Don't Touch My Fish, which is just like penguins moving around on a platform like an iceberg as it kind of breaks apart, and you collect fish. Nice, basic, simple. You know the rules within a minute or two, and you're good to go.
Okay.
Or Bananagrams, which is basically like a superior version of Scrabble. You'll
Oh.
know the rules within a minute or two. You're good to go, kind of thing like that. If you have a local board game store and the people there actually care about it, they'll very easily be able to suggest you what to start with. Very simple.
Okay.
And then, you know what, the most fascinating thing, like our local Global Gym board game store is called 41 Games, this place over in Young Street. And they have a board game professional. And you can go up and say, I want a board game that's like this. And he'll go, okay. And he'll show you which one to play.
We want to play a game that finishes in 60 minutes and is a lot of fun.
Okay. And he'll show you something.
And we're not that bright.
And we're not that bright. All right. But, so, in order to do our share, though.
And we lose pieces.
We lose pieces often.
How do they overcome that? They must lose pieces all the time.
I know over there that you can actually buy incomplete games for at a steep discount.
So that's what all they do? They just keep buying new games whenever they start losing too many pieces?
What, at Snakes and Ladders or
Yeah.
401?
Either one of, the cafe places.
I guess they would have to, or maybe they just have to
That
be
would
really
be a
careful.
nightmare, wouldn't it?
Well, you're paying a $5 cover fee, so let's pretend you get like 5 guys going there. That's $25. That covers
Each
the
one
cost
of
of
them
the
takes
game.
a Monopoly piece home.
Well, yeah, but with the $25, you can afford to buy another copy of Monopoly.
Okay, so yeah, that's enough that you could replace your losses,
Yeah,
probably.
and not everybody's going to take souvenirs home.
No, well, you shouldn't do that.
By the by, 401, not that we're sponsored by them, you can only pay $2, and you can play all the games you want up there.
Really?
Yeah, $2?
Just to try them out.
Just to try them
Oh,
out.
is that in that upstairs place?
Yeah.
Dude, that place smells. Do not go there.
Well,
Go
okay,
to another place.
it's poorly ventilated with a lot of
Wow.
sweaty nerds.
You want to
It's
smell.
better than the basement.
It's-
It's better than the
it's-
basement.
Full of the stench of fear of that place.
I think they have a guy with a coffee maker up there now.
But yeah, so the good places are the cafes. They're
Yeah, the
they're
cafes,
legit and they
yeah.
smell good.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's probably why it's a cafe, so that they can,
Mass the odors.
ask the odor. Yeah.
Well, I'm assuming if you're parents with kids, you probably take them to the cafe over like a geeky board game place.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't want to risk your child growing up and selling board games for a living. A weird pause by Kevin. Like, I don't know.
I come back from the war horrified to find out that my son is a nerd. That sounds like a riot. It's not a comedy.
But Daddy, I play Axis and Allies. It's a war game.
Oh, I love Axis and
I like
Allies.
Axis and Allies too. It's like a better version of Risk, basically.
Unbalanced.
Oh yeah,
flawed,
it's totally unbalanced. So
and,
that's
and
true.
great.
Yeah. Just choose
Still
Germany and you win.
No. I can win over Germany as the Russian player.
Whoa,
It's so
alright.
ezy.
Just mass turnout,
As long
wave
as
after
you-
wave
as
of
long as-
infantry.
No, as long as you have a good British player, you can beat Germany so easy. You attack as Russia on the first turn.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a whole extra turn for them to get to Moscow if you do that. And then like as long as the British player pours on the heat, and once you lose all your men, you can. Sometimes you can survive.
I'm glad you said that, Kevin, because one final point before we wrap things up here. What kind of cool stories are you going to be able to tell in the future about a game you played, like of Monopoly? Or Sorry? Or Yahtzee? Nothing. We're still discussing like strategies and like games that we played a long time ago. Stories about Power Grid, about Railroad Tycoon, stuff like that.
About Andrew losing terribly at
Risk. Whatever. I'm not the only one lost bad. We played this game called Railroad Tycoon. It's basically rip off a Ticket to Ride
Oh,
It.
that was so much fun.
It was
I love
fun.
that game.
And Wyatt tried to build that stupid Boston expansion, and I don't understand.
Go through the mountain?
Oh no, the mountain pass is me. I like the mountain pass. You're the one who wasted all your resources building like one long line from like, I don't remember. It was like the northern.
No, I didn't. I had all the big cities, and it was great. But then I hit a wall.
But yeah, you couldn't expand outward.
Yeah.
All right, so I know you're like, what are you guys even talking about right now? That's why we're going to take it upon ourselves. Like I said, there's not many people online that really do stuff like this for kinds of board games and card games. We're not going to do reviews. We're not going to do Let's Plays. We're going to do what I think Kevin will probably argue about this, but we're going to call Check It Outs.
Or experience reviews?
Our experience. I guess experience
How much fun
reviews
did
sounds.
we have playing this game?
Yeah, okay, fine. Experience reviews probably sounds better then.
Well, we could call it something else.
Whatever, we'll figure out the name. We're going to show you a board game or a card game, show you the pieces, quickly explain how you play it.
And then talk about playing it in the past where we had lots of fun.
Yeah, and then we'll show like a time lapse of us actually playing a game. so you can see how fast it is to set up the game, to play, and finish it. And
How many people got hurt? How many times the board got flipped over?
Yeah. I saw a guy we were playing Vanguard once at a tournament. Oh yeah, one guy, he was pretty mad. He started like yelling and screaming, and he dropped a few swears there and stormed up like, "I shouldn't be losing like this. I shouldn't be losing. I'm better than all of you." Kind of stormed up. You know, again, that was Monopoly. Oh man, old enough, he should have known better.
14, 16?
No, like mid-teens, I guess, mid-teens, and like it was great. It was great. I had a great time.
It's nothing like seeing an angry nerd.
No, it's nothing like seeing an angry nerd. And you know, people.
And these are the experiences you miss out on if you only stick to the same thing and do the same stuff all the time.
Yes, and there's a good community. There's a great community if you just kind of like poke your head in a little bit. Yeah. All right, so hopefully within a month or two we'll have our first one up.
And in the meantime, try something new.
Try something new. Just
with your friends.
Yeah, with your friends
or new
or
friends.
Family member or whatever like that. Just go to your local board game, card game store, hobby store. Hobby stores still exist?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
They're really expensive and they don't relate to board games.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I guess your local board game store.
Yeah, local board game store, I guess. Not a department store, a real board game store.
Well, unless you have to.
Unless you have to. But then don't get anything made by Parker Brothers or Milton Bradley or...
You just eliminated half the 90.
Well, that's what I mean. You gotta expand out of your comfort zone. Try something different.
Or do get a game by those guys, one that you've never played
before.
before.
All right, fine. Okay, fine. I'll give you that. At least get a new one.
Try Risk. If you probably never tried Risk.
No, yeah.
Try that one.
Try that one.
That'll be your gateway game.
That'll be a good gateway. Then you can expand up to Access and Allies and go from there. Anyway, we'll have something for you, hopefully, relatively within like the next foreseeable future.
Actually, Risk isn't the best. It lasts too long.
Yeah, it does last a long time. All right, what's a good
starter? You said he gave a whole bunch earlier.
Yeah, I gave a whole bunch. Just look into them.
Go online.
You'll figure it out. If not, ask the guy at the board game store. He'll show something for you.
Yeah.
And you'll be good to go, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Trust us. It'll be fun. You'll like it. There's more out there than Monopoly and Cards Against Humanity, all right?
Yeah.
All right, so take care of yourselves. Have yourselves a good night. We'll see you next time on From Our Minds.
See ya.